Welcome to our morning show on WRCO Radio. We're pleased to have in the studio guests from the Ithaca District. We talked about it yesterday with Mr. Adam Hess, who was here. He is in charge of technology. Today we talk about the Spanish program. Myra Masters is here. Melissa Sprecher is here. Agriculture education is her forte. And Kathleen Shane, elementary principal and curriculum director, to talk about things coming down to the last couple of months of the school year. Kathleen, how can it be?
I don't know, Phil. This is the end of my 30th year in education, and I'm not as old as I am by the book, but it's been a great year, fast and furious, and happy with the way things have gone, and look forward to finishing out strong.
I know curriculum is your forte, or one of your many hats that you wear, but I think you have to be happy. I think the test scores have been pretty positive, haven't they?
I think so, Phil. Elementary has been very strong over the last few years. The collective group of phenomenal teachers have done a lot of work around learning about the standards, identifying which ones must be learned, finding and implementing standards-based curriculum, changing our report card so that we are demonstrating and sharing with parents exactly where their child is in relation to those standards and what plans we have in place if they're not quite there yet. And I don't want to speak about anybody in particular, but our elementary team is very strong, very cohesive. Collaboration is what has brought us to where we are today.
Open enrollment, that used to be kind of just a small window. It's changed over the years, hasn't it?
A little bit. So the official open enrollment season ends April 30th, but parents at any point can complete an alternate open enrollment form, and both are found on the DPI website. If they just go to DPI and then within that search field, search for open enrollment, and the forms are available to be filled out. Once they're filled out, then the school district gets notified of an open enroll in, and we make plans for that, assign classes, determine what courses, if they're a middle or high school student, request records from the previous district and go on from there. So I encourage parents and guardians, if they're still undecided about where their child is going to go to school, to by April 30th, if they could do that. But again, at any time they can change districts.
And a tour, maybe, possibly?
Oh, yeah. Always come and meet. If you're an elementary student or family, you would meet me. I'd take you and the child around, introduce you to the teachers that your child would directly interact with, take a look at the playground, maybe sit in with the class a little bit, see if it's a good fit. And middle and high school, the same. They would meet with Miss Bevan. She's our guidance counselor and does student scheduling, and so she would similarly give a tour, answer questions, tour around the school, introduce to some staff, maybe see if there's any students that child knows already. Just kind of the initial welcome to Ithaca.
Another one of the things for the district, I think, is a drawing card, is the wraparound daycare. Now, could you talk about that and what that means?
I will gladly. I'm so happy that we were able to make this work. So Mrs. Penfield is our 4K instructor and has been for 13 years. Phenomenal person. She and her team that involved Andre Newkirk and Jenna Whipperfirth, among others, they did some research years ago about whether or not full day or half day was best for kids. Again, it's always about what's best for the kids. And so their research, what they read, the articles they read, led them to believe strongly that half day was best for students. And as you and I, when we went to kindergarten years and years ago, it was half day. And the other half, we often napped. Mm-hmm. So that's the method and the model that we followed since. But we also know that parents work. And a half day for a student is difficult for childcare, transportation, and so on. Very few are farm families where somebody's home on the farm all day, and so we had to look at how we can best meet the needs of our families. And so with the board's blessing, we are for next year offering wraparound care for our 4K students that go to Ithaca. And what that means is we will have childcare next year from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. If a student, say a 4K student, is scheduled in an afternoon 4K class, meaning they have lunch and then they have class with Miss Penfield, wrap around beginning at 7:30 when a normal school day starts. From 7:30 until that lunchtime, care will be provided for free for that Ithaca 4K student. And the reverse is true. So if they have a morning class with Mrs. Penfield, after lunch, they can then have wraparound care free until 3:30. If a family, whether it's 4K or other through 8th grade, need before or after school care, so from 6 to 7:30 or from 3:30 to 5, that is open as well. There is a nominal fee of $4 an hour. What we offer is, say you have a 4K student and you live in the district, or you are able to get to a place so the child can ride the bus. If the 4K student attends the afternoon 4K, they can ride the bus and get dropped off and then transported from the care to their class, and vice versa. If they come in on the bus and go to morning 4K, we get them to the afternoon care, and then if it works in the family schedule, they can get on the bus at 3:30 or thereabouts and go home. So the other thing too is it will be available for a fee on Friday. So we are sticking with the 4 days a week. And so Friday is not a free 4K day, but again, nominal fee, providing 5 days a week care for 4K students, as well as any school-age child that goes to Ithaca. I'm super excited about this. I know when my girls were in school, they did 4K. Emma did 4K, and it was all day. And so that alternate day, thankfully my folks were still alive and were retired, but I understand how it's tough for parents to have childcare. And when we live where we live in a remote setting, access to drop-off daycare is tough. So we're working very hard to provide that for our families and open enroll families too. As long as they go to Ithaca, they can utilize that school-age care program.
That's a really good savings too for that year, because as we know, childcare is not cheap.
It is, and again, it's not only savings, but it's that transportation time. So I'm hopeful that parents will see that this is a benefit to them. One change that will take place is that we're doing this year, we will no longer do, is the midday route. And so because we have the free wraparound care, we will no longer pick up and drop off at that midday time, but we will transport students from our building into the care for the wraparound part.
On a really inclement day, you might have to bus them down to the lower building, right?
Yes, we might. And so we recently hired Rick Manning as our transportation director, and I've already spoken with him about, just whether it be inclement or cold, a quick load up drive, if needed. I think it'll be great for the families. Mm-hmm. and fun for the kids, because they can then have basically playtime or nap time if they're so inclined. And I hope. And if people have questions about it, I invite them to call.
I know that once you get them in 4K, you'd like to keep them for, all 12 grades. But if somebody just wants to go for that year, too, because it fits them, is that possible as well?
Yes. The key to it that I want people to know is that it's only available to our students that are enrolled in 4K at Ithaca. So if let's say your student goes to a different school for 4K, our care is not available. It is specific to Ithaca students that are enrolled in Ithaca District.
Yeah, well, one of the many crown jewels of Ithaca. Another one is the Spanish program. I know you guys are really proud of that.
I am very proud of it, and I'm glad that Miss Masters, Myra, is here to, highlight the great things that she's doing. But the thing, as an elementary person, what I have found most valuable to our students is her demeanor, her happiness, her excitement to see our students who in the home maybe speak Spanish. And so there's that transition from speaking Spanish all the time to now I'm in an environment where nobody speaks Spanish to me all day. And so I have several children that get off the bus and she's their first, they pop in to say good morning to her. And I'm so thankful that anytime a family comes and needs some assistance with translating, Myra is right there, and she's lived in our country a long time and in our community for a long time, so she understands, kind of the challenges of rural schools and things like that, and she's just invaluable. There's never a time that I would imagine that a family that reached out, they will always get exactly what they need.
Yeah, well said. Myra, good morning. We appreciate you coming back. We didn't scare you away the first time you were on.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good to have you here. So your second trip to the Morning Show studios. Let's talk about some of the things you're doing with Spanish Club.
Oh, yes. Well, we have a Spanish club that we want to go in a trip. Of course, this year is not going to happen, but we are going to work towards to that trip because I think it's very important to the students go and other places. Even though it's not out of the country, maybe we can go another state and interact with our communities, restaurants, Mexican restaurants, or it doesn't matter if it's Mexican or Cuban restaurant or Colombian restaurant. I just want the students to practice what they have learned until now, the vocabulary, the vocabulary they have to about food, about kitchen utensils, stuff like that. They can practice that in Espanol. So. And absolutely interact with those people that only speak Spanish.
That's a good thing, a good tool to have, and I think that it's like a lot of things. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
So you want them to order in Spanish if they go to a restaurant?
Yes. I even tell them daily, hey, you have to practice this. I have a student, for example, they work in Subway. So I say, hey, how you tell them, how do you ask them how you want this, the letters and this and that, So they say, oh yeah, I've been practicing. I haven't played because, we have in the community people, they don't speak English, so they go over there and they don't know how to order, so they say, hey, I can help you here. So that made me proud. Let me tell you, I am very happy right now, and I am very proud of my students. I think they're great kids, very smart. So far, so good.
All right. And it's good to hear. Tell me about a typical day for you then. How many classes do you teach and what levels?
Oh, I have been teaching from 7 to 12, some middle school to high school. And every grade is different. I decide to start with a quiz in the first, because I didn't know, since I didn't taught them, years ago. So I started with the bottom, to see how much they knew, So I say, well, let's start fresh, from the bottom. So I made them, to take quizzes and to see what level. But 7 and 8, they are fresh. They are all this is new to them, so they are going to be great. They'll continue to to high school all the way. So for high school, they are good. Some of them, they are very fluent right now. They can have a communication with you and conversation right now. So it has been a great experience. Different ages, different personalities, different kind of, we have different levels of students. The ones that go faster, learn faster. The other ones, it's a little slow, but we accommodate everybody. We make quizzes, different quizzes to try to accommodate everybody. And so they have their own, way to learn in different ways.
When you gave that initial quiz to see what they knew, I'm guessing some students are probably surprised they actually do know some Spanish words and didn't even realize.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the others say, oh, I supposed to that. I forgot, but it's like I said, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Yeah, it has been a absolutely great experience for me and for them too. I'm very proud of them and made me so happy when I see them talking in the hallway and say, good morning, buenos días in Espanol, and, have a nice day, have a nice weekend in Espanol too. So that's great. That's absolutely wonderful.
As Kathleen said too, you're the head translator too for teachers and students.
Yes, yes. I have been trying to help the family and my coworkers. They call me every time they need me, and of course I'm going to be there to try to help the community and offer, the help they need with those parents. They don't speak, English at home or at all. Hey, you can call me anytime. We are here, same with the teachers, saying, hey, you need me, you call me. I'm here all the time. So what we are there for. We are going to help each other, and we're going to help and push all these students. They don't speak English, so we're going to help them. And it's absolutely, of course, with Espanol, because they don't know. And with the daycare and all this stuff, we're trying to give all the information they need and clarification. Hey, you need more clarification, come over here, look for me, I will explain. I will go and get Kathleen, and hey, we're going to explain all the way.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
I know they're happy to have you. It sounds like it's going well. You're enjoying yourself.
Yes, I absolutely enjoyed my job.
Great.
Yes.
That's good to hear. And this lady next to you does as well, Melissa. How are you, Melissa Sprecher?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Of course, in the ag room, when January hits, it feels like the next 5 months happen in a week because it gets pretty crazy. Lots of stuff going on, not only agriculture part, but the FFA. So yeah, kind of gearing up for our last few weeks of school and then into state convention.
Mm-hmm. That's down the road too, and so far, kind of give us an overview. You've had some students do pretty well when they've gone to contests, haven't you?
Yeah. So just kind of touching base a little bit on like FFA. We have some different competitions that FFA has, and one of them we call the leadership development events, which is basically speaking. And we took almost a full team to our district contest, and from district we had. For Creed, one advanced to sectionals, employment skills, which is more than just a job interview. They have to do a resume and fill out an application. It's a pretty long process. We had a prepared speaker that won the contest at the district and went on to sectionals and was second there. And then our Parley Pro team also advanced on, and a Quiz Bowl team. So a lot of kids that went on. Unfortunately, they only take one from sectionals, so we had a couple of kids that placed second in their category, which was amazing because our section is very well known for our speaking kids, and when they go to state, they're always right up there in the top. So very exciting that way. I'm just very proud of the kids. And the parliamentary procedure team, I implemented this a few years ago, that if you're on my officer team, you have to be part of the parliamentary procedure team. And every year when I bring on a new group of officers, they're like, oh, do we really have to do it? It sounds so hard. And I got to practice a lot. And I've never done it before. I don't understand. But a lot of them have, because if you've been part of a meeting, most people know how to make a motion and most people know how to vote on a motion. But they dig a lot deeper and they learn all the salient points of some of the major motions that you'd have in a meeting. They learn how to run a meeting. They learn how to debate. They learn the correct way to do it. And so the first few times that we go through and practice this, we walk the kids through it literally step by step. Now you say this, and then you say this. And by the third or fourth time, they're getting it. And by the fifth or sixth practice, they're like, this is easy. This is cool. This is awesome. And it's great because not only are they taking that ability to do that, and when they become adults, be able to run meetings that in the groups that they're in, whether it be a local group or a school board or whatever kind of group they're in, they understand how parliamentary procedure works, and they can do those motions, or they can help make sure the organization is doing it correctly. But the amount of confidence these kids get, I had 2 girls on the team. They were very quiet, and I could tell they just did not want to do this, but they're like, we're going to try, we're going to do it. And by the time that we had our last competition, you could just tell they really knew what they were doing. They felt confident about it, and it just gave them that extra boost of confidence. So that's really awesome to watch and see with those kids.
How does the speaking competition work? Do they have to write their own speeches, or is it already prepared for them?
So it depends on the category. The creed, they have to recite the FFA creed and then answer questions. Extemporaneous, they pull a topic out of a hat, basically, and they have to do, they have half an hour to prepare a speech, and then they give it to the judges. Prepared speaking is they have to do a speech ahead of time, and then they submit their manuscript. And then this is the interesting part about that is when they do their speech for prepared speaking, they get deducted for any word that is wrong in their speech. So not only do they have to be memorized, but the judges are watching their manuscript to make sure they do it exactly. So which is a little bit different than if you're out public speaking and you stumble over what you were going to say, you can still, you can say it and it's fine. But in prepared speaking, you get deducted for that. And then they'll ask you questions about it. And then, like I said, parliamentary procedure is that you get a motion, you go into the room and they give you a motion, and then you have to pretend like you're doing a meeting and work through that motion, and they assign you certain motions that each person has to do. So you have to understand that and then answer questions about that. And then Quiz Bowl, they study ahead of time all of the different facts about FFA, state, national, and then like any kind of Quiz Bowl, they compete against another team to see who knows the most questions. So lots of different types of speaking depending on what's your forte. I have some kids that love prepared speaking, and because they can go in, they feel prepared because they've been able to practice it. And then, but if you ask them to do extemporaneous, they're like, no way, that is not happening, because they don't feel comfortable doing it under the gun. But then I have kids who are just good on their feet thinkers and like, absolutely, sign me up for extemporaneous. So, and then, there's one other one too that I have a couple of kids that just love. It's ag discussion, where they go in and the moderator will throw out a topic, and then the group of kids that are competing have to discuss that topic and bring in facts and knowledge that they have. They're not looking this up. This is just facts and knowledge that they've learned through their different experiences, and have a discussion about it. So it's really cool. I love the speaking contest. It's one thing that we push really hard in our FFA chapter. We always try to take a full team to district and just give those kids some new opportunities.
Some exciting things coming up this spring. What about you're going into the chick business, it sounds like.
Yeah, so we have this great opportunity at Ithaca, because we're a K through 12 school, that we can do a lot of things in the ag room where we can involve different areas of the school. And so one of them that we're doing new this year is I got a grant from Compeer to get some equipment to do a incubation, and then also the cages to use afterwards once they're incubated. So we are doing a project where we set some eggs, and I had my animal science classes and vet science classes help with setting those eggs, and an incubator, and we invited the elementary to go on the journey with us. And so I sent a bunch of information to them to where they can track like what's happening every day in the egg, because obviously you can't see what's happening inside, but we have pictures so we know what's going on in there. And they are invited to come down anytime they want to look in the incubator and see what's happening. And then when they come down, we talk about different things with them. So the first time they came down, we talked about how do we set the eggs and how long do they incubate and why are we putting them in an incubator and why is the humidity level this, and just kind of walk them through the whole process of incubating and explain to them like on a small level, this is what we're doing. But if you think about, anyone who orders chicks, like either from Chet's or wherever, where are those chicks coming from and what does that look like? So doing it on a large level as well. And we just talk about like we're trying to like basically mimic what happens when a hen is laying on the eggs. What does she do and what are some of the things that happen? And then once they're done looking at the eggs in the incubator, then we have a poster where they can look to see what day we're on in incubation and see what's happening inside the egg. So it's very exciting. And then we also taught them, like when you're looking for eggs to incubate, what are some things that you want and don't want in the eggs? Because obviously you don't want a double yolker because you can't grow two babies in the little eggshell. There's just not enough room for them, and walk them through that. So next week on Monday, they're supposed to start hatching. So we're really excited because I think we're going to be very busy in the egg room with the kids coming in to watch the babies hatch. And then, of course, we'll get to take them from that. And then they'll get to watch them and help with growing them till the end of the year. And then after school's out, we're going to sell those chickens as laying hens to kind of help with the cost of feed and things like that. But they get to watch the whole life cycle from the beginning and understand how it works. And yeah, it's just a chicken, but it does cross over into so many other areas and gets the kids excited. And again, it's when my high school kids are in the room and the elementary come in to look at the baby chicks, and of course they ask 1,000 questions and share lots of information, which is great. But to see the high school kids, how excited they get about the little ones, and just they appreciate the innocence of them not understanding the whole process of eggs and stuff yet. So it's great. It's always great when you can bring those, the whole class together, or the whole school together. And it's just a wonderful, unique thing that we have at Ithaca. Another place where we do that is our greenhouse. So our greenhouse, we use it for classes. I have a lot of different classes where we do either some different experiments. We have some ag science program experiments going on up in there for FFA. We plant plants for a greenhouse that we actually will sell during our plant sale. And then we invite the elementary kids, if they want to plant some plants, if they want to do some seeds and watch the seeds grow. In the past, we've had some elementary ones that have done experiments with bean seeds where they put them in different places to see when they would germinate. And then once they're germinated, we invite them to come over and plant their beans in the greenhouse, and then we'll help them take care of it, and then they can take them home with them at the end of the year. So again, just not only exposing them to what's happening in the high school once they get into high school, what are some of the things that they can do, and seeing that in the greenhouse, but exposing them to things that in agriculture, because as we know, we're getting further and further away where we have kids that their parents don't live on a farm, grandparents don't even live on a farm anymore, and they're just so removed, and we need them to understand where their food comes from. So that's really important. I think it's great that we can, being, again, a K through 12 school, we're able to bring those kids in and do some of that teaching, not only through their classes at elementary, but through what we're doing in the high school as well, and with the FFA.
So listen for details on an upcoming plant sale then, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, so plant sale, actually May 1st. We will open the greenhouse, and basically you can come anytime during the day. Just stop in the front office and let them know you're there to look at some plants. And we have over 200, I think the boys counted 211 hanging baskets. And we have lots of different color combinations and different types of flowers. And then we have hundreds of 3-packs of bedding plants, everything from geraniums and patience, petunias, anything you can think of. So, and all the money goes to help support the FFA. As we know, we try to go to a lot of leadership events. We try to take the kids to lots of different opportunities where they can learn and grow as leaders. And then again, like we talked about the contests, and all that costs money. And so we use this as one of the ways to help offset some of the costs of those contests and give those kids the opportunity to go to those things as well. So
it's a sure sign of spring, that's for sure. All right. We'll be back with more on the morning show in a moment as we talk about all the great things going on at Ithaca Schools this spring. It's our day to talk about all the great things going on at Ithaca Schools, and Kathleen Shane is in the studio with us, along with Melissa Sprecher and Myra Masters. Kathleen, you got a lot of action-packed things every day in that 4K through 12 building, don't you?
We do, Phil, and I'm very proud to be part of it, both as a kid growing up, but now as an active member of a really good staff. So a couple things I wanted to highlight, Phil, this morning to kind of piggy off of Melissa's talk about the chicken and hatching. It happened maybe the week before she let me know of this hatchery going on. The second graders polled me to find out what I thought, who I thought came first, the chicken or the egg. And at the moment, I'm like, oh, I don't know how to answer that. And then she came out with this. So again, it's, in my opinion, that's one of the greatest parts about Ithaca is we are all under one roof. So if there's something exciting going on in a high school class, our elementary can participate. If we're celebrating some student athletes that are moving on to state, we line the halls and the drums, we get that cadence, and the elementary are very excited. And it starts because we have a really robust youth sports program. We have youth wrestling, youth softball and baseball, youth basketball. Kids as little as kindergarten can participate and learn those skills, and I think that's key. But there's no pressure on parents. If you don't want your child to be enrolled yet in an organized sport because you believe in play and outside, that's fine. If you're waiting until they're in middle school and they're with their peers, that's fine. Our coaches will take children wherever they are and build them up. But again, it's at 4K through 12. that to me makes us unique. I think of our teaching assistants. This year, I believe I have 12 high school students who are working in the elementary. And I think of the one in particular. He's a senior and he works in our kindergarten. Phenomenal. Those kids will do and listen to him as if he were their teacher, and several. There's many, and they will do those high school kids are become kind of part of the faculty. I trust them when they sign up and we talk. I trust that they'll do what they're supposed to do, be good role models, take on leadership when needed. Work one-on-one or small groups as directed by the teacher, and it gives our youth, our little kids, somebody to want to be like, and another person that they will make good choices because of. And I know we've got students that are leaving us this year and in recent years that went into education, and we need good teachers, right? And we need teachers that come from Ithaca so that they can, hopefully some will come back and return with skills and the empathy of living in a small community and working in a small school. I guess it's that's really important to me. One thing I wanted to highlight too is our high school. We put out well-rounded students. We talk about a product, a business. We are a business, right? We have to stay within our budget as best we can. And I, again, thank the voters for our recent referendum. But our product of students, in my opinion, we put out well-rounded. We have our FBLA, we have students going to nationals this year. We sent many to state forensics. We have a horse club, right? With Richland Center, we co-op. So we have kids that can showcase that. Our FFA is phenomenal. NHS, student leadership, art club. Like, who doesn't want to sit after school with Ms. Durkin and do art and talk, right? Our WIAA sponsored sports. It's a well-rounded, our student athletes are often in many activities as well as performing in the classroom. And to me, that's very important. I believe strongly, my own daughters are a testament that well-rounded education leads you to become whatever you want, whether it be going to Southwest Tech, going to work locally in a business. I remember we have several students that work in local businesses in high school, and I often get called, background check. And then I'll, see that business owner years past and cannot talk highly enough about Ithaca students and how their work ethic and their politeness and their intuitiveness of seeing something and doing it. To me, that's what's important. We might not be able to offer all of the things that bigger schools can, but when a student leaves our building, I believe strongly that they can go and do whatever they want, wherever they want to do it, whether it's Richland County or Alaska, New York City, overseas. I believe that strongly. The other thing I want to mention before Ms. Sprecher talks a little bit more about our CTE summer school is going to go strong again this year. It does include swim lessons, so it is for students that are currently 4K through 7th grade, and we have both enrichment classes, and brochures will be coming out and registration will be coming out this week, along with reading and math. We use our internal data to continue learning in small group through summer school. And I'm excited about, we have things from fishing to sewing to, engineering type things, focusing on reading. Just lots of fun activities are being planned by our staff. So I hope many of our students and families will make that a priority. Summer school runs June 9th through the 20th.
Mm-hmm. So it's not an all-summer thing. It's just
no, it is. Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. That's coming up. I think the other thing that Ithaca is really proud of is the Youth Apprenticeship Program. They've done really well, Melissa.
Yes, Monica Kirshner has been just amazing at this position. She came on a few years ago and it really exploded even more because she has such a passion for it. She does such a great job of going in and talking to the kids about doing a youth apprenticeship. So basically what they're doing is they're looking at something they might be interested in going into or passionate about, and they're working for that company or that business or that individual, and they have to get in 400 hours of work. And in addition to that, and learning on the job, obviously being an apprentice and learning how to do that position, but they're also taking related classwork. Now, whether that's be at our school or if it's something where they're taking credits through Southwest Tech, but they're learning about that pathway and finding out if that's the pathway they want to continue on and go down after they graduate. Or maybe it's like, well, I thought this was something I was really interested in, but now that I've worked it day for day for a year, maybe not the direction I want to go. And then at that point, we try to get them into a different pathway to try to help them explore some more. But we have the highest youth apprenticeship participation in our school in the entire area, entire CISA. And I think we're right up there in the state too. So, and that is, as far as percentage goes, that percentage of our students that do it. And it is amazing. And one of the really cool things that we can offer at Ithaca is not only do we have related instruction to go with that, but many of those classes are transcripted credit back to Southwest Tech. So for instance, in my room, I have animal science and plant science. So if you're going to Southwest Tech into any of those agriculture directions, you can get those two classes done and taken care of before you even graduate from Ithaca. Mr. Nee has a great program happening down in Tech Ed, and he has transcripted credits as well, especially in the welding area. And the kids that are going to youth apprenticeship that are using his classes as related instruction are just learning so much, and they're able to go out into those trades. And he's doing different certifications. One is a multimeter measurement one, or precision measurement, and that's a certificate that when they go out into apply for a job, employers are going to look at and they'll be like, oh, they have precision measurement and they've had OSHA. Okay, cool. We don't have to spend time working with you guys on that. You already have it. And it gives them that leg into that position. So definitely preparing them not only to go on to the next level of education, if that's what they're looking at, but to go into the workforce as well. We also have in our family consumer ed department, Heather has a program where she is child development, and those kids will actually have a state accreditation for early childhood. I believe it's the infants before they leave the school. So they already have a certificate and ready to go into the workforce.
Well, we need good workers, and it gets them into the workforce even a little bit faster, doesn't it? In some cases.
Yep, absolutely.
Also, we want to talk about, you have some proficiency winners that we'd like to highlight.
Yeah, this is always just so exciting. So all of my FFA kids, they have what we call a supervised ag experience. And so in 4-H terms, this would be a project. And they're a little bit different for each kid, but at the end of the year, all year long, they keep track of their financials, their hours that they're in the project. They have learning standards that they look at that they want to learn for the year, and then they talk about how they accomplish that. Did they learn it, and how did they do it? They have different types of efficiency factors they set up, and they try to achieve those. So it might be the rate of gain on an animal. It could be. We have one of my girls that's advancing for horse. Hers was on how she can improve her time on goat tying, and she broke it down to literally every section of goat tying, from when the horse breaks to getting off the horse, how quick she can do that, and just trying to improve those efficiency factors. And then at the end of the year, they fill out this application, which takes a lot of time and effort. I'm not going to lie, it is mostly kids. There's 23 to 27 page application. But yeah, we had some great applications, and we were so fortunate that Maggie Kirshner and Josie Lau both are state finalists for horse entrepreneurship. So one of them is our section winner. We don't know which one yet. We won't know until state. And Annabeth Sprecher, again, is a state finalist for swine placement. Last year, she was third at state. So we're hoping to get her over the edge, and win that this year. And she was a section finalist for that. And then we had some other kids that were section finalists, silver and gold medals. So very, very proud of them. And then also this year, Josie Lau filled out her American degree. So for those who don't know that, it's the highest degree a FFA member can earn, and less than 0.5% of our FFA members across the nation get their American degree. It's very involved. It basically covers their entire FFA experience from classroom. It works on their projects that they did. They have to have so many hours or earn so many dollars in that project in order to get that. So we're very excited about that. And Josie's only the second female from Ithaca. Last year, Talina got hers. And then before that, the last American degree we had was in the 60s. So we're just super excited about growing this FFA program. We're excited that the kids are taking the opportunity, they're doing the hard work, and it just makes them better adults when they get out into the real world, and it makes them really good as far as when they go on to their secondary education. It gives them that experience to be what hard work's all about and responsibility, and we're just very, very proud of them.
Absolutely, you should be. Myra Masters, your Spanish club, are you guys going to be looking at raising some funds and maybe having some sort of fundraisers to get some Spanish things going?
Yes, we are definitely going to try to get some more money, make more money for the next year, and getting that trip going. So I want to finish telling something to the whole community that I will highly recommend to those students. If they have the choice and they have the opportunity to learn another language, that please, not just Ithaca, just another schools too, that please learn another language. It's not just stimulate your brain and have a lot of positive things that can help you, not just to communicate and connect with people. Just it will help you. The more important part is it will help you with your career opportunities. Right now it's a competitive job market out there. To tell you the truth, from my experience, I have a lot of jobs. A lot of people come to me, hey, do you want to be interpreter? Can you help me with this, the translation and this and that? So I think it's very important for them, even though they didn't want to go to college, even they want just become a farmer. Hey, you have a lot of people will come to you as employee and the Spanish speaker, they don't know how to explain, to communicate with you. Hey, learn something. It will help you. It will help you not just now it will help you for the rest of your life. You never know. Today you are here, tomorrow you don't know, and you don't know where you're going to end up. So please,
if you're applying for a job and you have on there that you're proficient in Spanish, I'm guessing that gives you the heads up on someone else.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
Didn't.
How many people they need that, the translation, the people that they help you. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know. So we need to have people that speak both language and not Espanol, maybe another one. But I will highly recommend Espanol because it's a lot. It's a lot of people who speak Espanol. So learn something that will be very helpful for your life.
Sometimes going to college too.
Yes,
for college credits that looks pretty good as well.
2 years. I believe they require some.
Yeah.
Some colleges require that, but hey, that is very important. I will highly recommend that.
And as far as the future, do you have some plans, some things you'd like to see and implement at Ithaca in the coming year?
Oh, I will be there. I love it there. I love I love my coworkers. I love the kids over there. They're great, and I'm going to be there. So yes, I think I see a great, bright future for those students, and I hope they stick with me until 12. There you go.
All the way through.
Yes, all the way through.
Awesome. Melissa, anything else that you wanted to add here today?
Yeah, I just wanted to say two things. I didn't want to leave out that Katie Burnley does our business program at the school, and she just took a group of kids to FBLA State. She had 10 kids that qualified to go to state, and from there she had 3 of them that placed first in their division are going on to nationals. So very excited about that. Abby Plonka, Kaylee Newkirk, and Tristan Peterson will be going on to nationals for that. But I also wanted to kind of wrap up my end of it that my kids were school choice to Ithaca. So this was a few years ago. Obviously, my oldest has graduated. My youngest is a sophomore. And a lot of reasons why we school choice there was because of the school's smaller and just the one-on-one attention that they're going to get there. The K through 12 is an experience that you can't recreate. It's one of those awesome experiences where kids just get to interact so much with not just kids who are their own age and peer group, but they get to help with the younger ones. And I always feel like when older kids, like those middle school, high school age kids, can help and interact with the elementary, it gives them more empathy and an understanding, not only of their classmates and their peers, but of like in the world as well. And again, we school choice there. We continue school choice there. And I am very, very happy that we made that decision many years ago when Talina was ready to go into 4K. And she was talking about Mrs. Penfield being there for 13 years. And actually, my youngest, she was the first class that Mrs. Penfield had. And it was such a great experience. And she just continues to do so great with that 4K. And so if you haven't made a decision yet where you're going with your 4K student, I cannot say enough good things about that program. And Mrs. Manning helps her in that room. And I mean, if whoever knows Mrs. Manning, Deb Manning, she is the sweetest person and is so patient and so kind. I've never not seen her smile. She just exudes out that happiness. And I mean, who wouldn't want to have their child around that and experience that? So yeah, I mean, really consider Ithaca. Like I said, I've had 2 kids go through school now. There's so many things and opportunities that we have there that you can't get from a larger school.
Well said. Kathleen, I want to put you on the spot. I understand that you're going to be retiring, at least at the end of the year.
I am, Phil.
Yeah.
I am.
You're not old enough to be doing that.
I know. They say go out when things are going well, and things are going super. I'm very pleased that Mrs. Sarah Dilly is replacing me. She and I taught together, and then I became her principal, and I find her to be very collaborative, very much aware, and wants what's best at Ithaca. Even as a 3rd grade teacher years ago, I can't say enough good things about Sarah. I know there'll be some transition, right? My personality and way is different. Having grown up in this area, I do know people, and that'll be a learning curve, but I'm pleased and excited for her to start this next journey in her life. But I want to piggyback off Melissa, so my girls' school choice too. And I can't. So my youngest was the first 4K ever with Mrs. Milliken. But yeah, there's so many opportunities at Ithaca that just make it what it is. I think back, we have many alumni that work at Ithaca. Like, that's a testament, I think, to how important education is for our community and our school over the years. So, and if people have questions, they want to come check us out, just call, and I'd be glad to answer questions. You can meet Myra, see what we have going on, and go from there.
You gonna be doing more fishing now?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna ride horse. I'm excited for this next. I don't know. I don't have anything really planned besides riding horse more and spending time at home. I like to be home. I'm fortunate where I live in the beautiful valley of Bear Valley. So, thanks, Phil. Thanks for having us today.
Thanks for your dedication to education over the years, too.
Of course.
You bet.
Of course.
Kathleen Shane joining us on WRCO Radio along with Melissa Sprecher and Myra Masters talking about Ithaca. They'll be back next time when they join us. It'll almost be graduation day in May, which doesn't seem possible. Thanks for joining us for today's morning show.